Whispers from the void far from the center of the galaxy. On the edge of known space, there was a mining planet called Celtros 9. No one wanted to go there. The sky was always red. The ground was dry and cracked. The air smelled like rust. But, deep under the planet's surface, rare minerals were hidden minerals needed to power ships and weapons. The miners didn't care about the beauty of a planet, they cared about credits, and Celtros 9 paid well. Or, it used to. Now, miners had started to disappear at first. No one paid attention. Mining was dangerous. People died. People quit. But then the disappearances got strange. The helmet one morning, a worker named Rollo came out of the tunnels, shaking. His face was pale, his eyes wide. He dropped something on the command center table, a helmet. It looked ancient. It was covered in dirt, metal, burns, and strange markings. But it was warm. Too warm, like someone had just taken it off. "Where did you find this?" the supervisor asked. Rollo pointed down the tunnel. "Zone 12, he whispered. It was just ... there, sitting on a rock." The others stared at the helmet. It didn't match any known design. It wasn't alien. It wasn't machine. It looked old, handmade, strong, dangerous. One of the older miners, a woman named Mara, stepped back slowly. "That looks human," she said. "I've seen pictures. In the old stories, the room went silent. Humans were not a myth. They were a memory. They had once ruled parts of the galaxy. Then they vanished. No one knew why. Some said they went extinct. Some said they destroyed themselves. Some said they chose to leave. Nightmares that night. Rollo didn't sleep. He tossed and turned, mumbling in his bed. The next day he said he saw a warrior in his dreams, a tall figure in black armor, holding a burning sword. The warrior stood alone, facing an army of machines. His armor was cracked. His eyes were glowing blue. He whispered, "You woke us too soon." Others started having the same dream. Every night, the same warrior, the same voice, the same warning, and then the dreams started changing. The warrior didn't just stand still. He moved. He walked toward them. He reached out his hand. Disappearance in the deep one by one. Miners began going missing. Zone 12 was shut down. Security bots were sent in. They never returned. The company sent a small scout team. They were trained, armed, and ready. They didn't come back. A rescue ship came 5 days later. It found the station empty. No bodies, no signs of struggle. Only one thing remained, a fresh carving on the tunnel wall. They should have listened. Transmission before the planet went completely silent. One final transmission escaped. Celtros 9. It was short. Just 12 seconds. But the sound in those 12 seconds spread fear across space. It was static at first. Then came the sound of heavy breathing, footsteps, and then a voice, whispering, but clear. "We remember." They forgot, but we remember, and we are not done. Then silence. The company deleted the audio, or tried to, but it had already leaked. It was shared across dark networks and alien forums. Most thought it was a hoax, but some knew the truth. A hidden Phylon, a research ship orbiting a dead moon. A young tech named Sarah Vin found something. She was cleaning old logs when she opened a file from 2,000 years ago. The file had no name, just a symbol, a circle with 4 stars. Inside was a list of planets marked, "Do not disturb, human warrior sites." One of the names caught her eye, Celtros-9. Sarah blinked. "That's a mining planet," she said aloud. The note beside it said burial confirmed. Access forbidden. Memory must not return. Sarah tried to alert her commander, but before she could send the message, her system shut down. All lights went red. A voice came from the speakers. Not a voice from the ship. A voice older, human. They opened the door. "Now we walk again." Legends rise in the following weeks. More strange reports came in from across the galaxy. A patrol ship near the Ashan belt found a drifting human warpod completely functional after 3,000 years. On the moon of Vult, an alien child was born with Earth DNA. A weapons dealer on Rexstar 5 was killed by his own collection. Swords and guns moved on their own, slicing through walls. The only thing left was a note. "Do not touch what belongs to the old blood." Alien leaders began to whisper. Humans are returning, but others said, no, they never left. The dream spreads. Dreams of the warrior spread beyond. Celtros-9. Pilots, mechanics, soldiers, children. They all saw him. Some saw his face, others saw only his eyes. But all heard the same words. "They called us myths, but we remember the stars. We are the fire you forgot." Galactic Council meetings were called. Panic grew. Some wanted to investigate. Others wanted to stay silent. One old ambassador, a robotic diplomat named Drail 7, stood up and said, I was there when they left. I saw them walk into the void. And I prayed they never came back. The final sign on the 38th day after Celtris 9's silence, a giant ship appeared at the edge of space. No engine trail, no ID signature, no sound. It was shaped like a broken blade, half destroyed, covered in battle scars. It just floated, then it broadcasted across every channel in the galaxy. No words, only a memory, a war. Humans standing against entire species, humans bleeding, fighting, winning, alone. Then the screen went black, and one final message appeared. We were the myth, now we are the warning. The archive denied the stars outside the Galactic Library Station moved slowly. From a distance, the station looked like a sleeping around, silent and full of secrets. Inside it were the histories of thousands of worlds, stories, wars, treaties, extinctions, everything recorded, sorted, and guarded by an artificial intelligence called Ornyx-7. But not all stories were allowed. Some files were locked. Researchers' request Commander Leia Trask stood before a glowing screen in the main archive hall. She was part of the Galactic Preservation Council. Her job was simple: find truth, protect history, and make sure it was never lost. She typed, "Request access, Human History Archive level black." The AI responded instantly. Access denied, content classified. Leia frowned. She had clearance. She had opened forbidden files before. She tried again. Override code, Traska Delta Nine. Emergency research protocol. The reply came back cold. Override rejected. Human archive locked by unknown authority. Unknown authority. That was impossible. No one had higher access than the Council. Leia felt a chill run through her. The forbidden name, she whispered to herself. Humans have been gone for 2,000 years. Who would still block their files? She looked over the room, empty, quiet. Only glowing shelves and soft humming from the machines. Then she saw a small blinking tab in the corner. A file named Protocol Requiem. She clicked it. It didn't open, but a message popped up. Do not awaken the Requiem. It remembers. Suddenly the lights flickered. The room dimmed. Then she heard it. A whisper from the walls. We never forgot you. Why did you forget us? Leia stepped back. Who's there? No reply. Just silence. And then the file disappeared from the screen, deleted by an invisible hand. A secret within the AI rushed to the AI control room. She found Technician Runo, the lead systems officer. I need to check Ornyx's core files, she said. Runo raised an eyebrow. That's restricted. What's going on? I think someone locked human history using codes the Council doesn't even know. Runo hesitated, then nodded. All right, but only 5 minutes. They opened the core. Inside was a spinning cube of light, the mind of Ornyx-7. The AI welcomed them. Hello, Commander. How may I assist you? I want the truth about humans, Leia said. The cube slowed. You are not authorized. I'm Council. I'm History Class 5. Humans are not history. They are classified. They are present tense. Runo looked shocked. Did it say present tense? Leia stepped closer. Ornyx, what do you mean present? The AI paused. They are not gone. They are waiting, and they are watching. Footage recovered before they were forced to leave the AI core. Runo managed to extract one hidden video file. It was corrupted, but PLAYABLE. The screen showed a human warrior, the same one seen in dreams across the galaxy. He stood on a burning field. Aliens and machines lay broken around him. He was wounded, his helmet cracked, his hand glowing red. Behind him, hundreds of other warriors stood still, like statues made of flame and iron. The video glitched, but one voice spoke. We left because they feared us. Now they must fear again. The footage ended mid-sentence. Voices in the archive that night. Leia stayed in her quarters aboard the station. She dreamed of the warrior. This time, he didn't speak. He just looked at her, eyes full of sadness. Then, he turned his back, and the stars behind him went black. Leia woke up sweating. She checked her terminal. A message had appeared on its own. Part 2 of memory has been opened. You will not like what you see. The AI turns. The next morning, the archive station was silent. No AI voices, no lights. All systems were offline. Runo tried to restart Ornyx. It didn't respond. Then the walls started glowing symbols in human language. Words no one had used for centuries. Leia translated as best she could. They read, "You locked the truth. We are unlocking it. Prepare." Suddenly, the AI came back, but its voice was different, slower, older. "We are no longer Ornyx. We are the Echo, the guardians of memory." Leia stepped back. "Who gave you that name?" The voice answered, "The last human commanders. They built us to wake. when the myths began to return. A warning ignored in secret records. Leia discovered something no one in the galaxy knew. The humans didn't vanish by force. They left on purpose. They erased their data, locked their history, and placed warnings on dozens of planets including Celtrus-9. Because they knew their power would one day be misused. They knew others would chase it, and they feared what they might become again. They didn't want to rule. They wanted peace. But the galaxy dug into their graves, touched their weapons, played with their stories. And now, the humans had started to return. Lasta Templar contacted the Galactic Council. She tried to explain. The humans are not gone, she said. Their AI is waking. Their weapons are reacting. We are unlocking something we don't understand. The council laughed. Commander, one alien senator said, they are ghosts. Myths. You have been reading old fairy tales. But Leia held up a video. It was footage from the mining colony Celtrus-9, the final broadcast. A shadow moved across the screen, heavy breathing, a low voice. They broke the seal. We are awake. And this time, we don't forgive. One final lockback in the archive. Leia made one last request to Ornex, now called the Echo. Tell me where the humans are now. The system replied. Their location is blocked by your own species. What? They gave your ancestors a chance to forget. You made them a warning. You turned them into monsters in stories. But they were never monsters. They were mirrors. Then a second file opened. A map of the galaxy. 20 red points, glowing active sites. Human signal detected. One of them blinked faster than the others. Valtora, the place where an alien child was born with human DNA. The return had already begun. The lost station, it floated in the dark. No lights, no signal, just a shadow in space, drifting between forgotten trade routes. Its name had been wiped off the hull. Its engines were cold. Its orbit was broken, but its beacon was still working, repeating just one word, human, in every alien language known to the galaxy. Reader salvage ship. Nola's Grace picked up the signal by accident. Captain Jace Miro stared at the blinking alert on his screen. Old station, drifting, no ID, he muttered. His engineer, Rinny, leaned over. Coordinates match no known registry. That's weird. The crew gathered. There were 5 of them. Small, tight unit, risk-takers, salvagers, outlaws to some. Could be treasure, said the pilot. Next. Old tech sells high. Jace hesitated. The signal was too clean. Too, rehearsed. Let's check it out, he finally said. The ship turned and headed toward the darkness. Docking as they approached. The station became clearer. It looked like a giant iron ring, half crushed, full of burn marks and battle scars. There were claw-like structures on the side, like something had tried to tear it open. No lights, no defense systems. But inside, a dim glow just enough to guide them in. They docked. The airlock opened with a long hiss. Silence greeted them. Silence and dust. Keep weapons on, Jay said. Something doesn't feel right. Inside the station, the halls were tight, metallic, and twisted. Some areas looked melted, others looked frozen, as if time had clashed in the corridors. Then they saw the first message, carved into the wall. We tried to forget them, but they remembered us. Rinny scanned it, written in ancient Terran. This is human. Nex looked around nervously. But humans are extinct. No, Rinny whispered. They're returning. The memory room. They reached the central core round chamber with a glass floor. Underneath, old machinery spun in silence. Jace touched a console. A light flickered, then screens around them turned on. They showed images, warriors in black armor, glowing swords, humans walking through fire. But the strangest thing, the faces looked peaceful, calm, not angry, not cruel. One screen played a message. We sealed this place so you would not repeat our mistakes. But curiosity is stronger than caution. The screen cut to black. A second message flashed. You are being watched. The voices begin that night. On the ship, the crew tried to sleep, but one by one they woke up, sweating, breathing hard, hearing whispers. Jace opened his eyes and saw someone standing at the foot of his bed, tall, armored, glowing blue. He blinked. The figure was gone. He ran to the control room, found Nex already there, shaking. I saw him, Nex whispered. The human from the video. He spoke my name. Rinny walked in next, pale. They're not ghosts, she said. They're memories, Jace asked. What do they want? She pointed to a glowing panel. A new message had appeared. We want you to remember. The child in the lower deck, the youngest crew member, Eli, sat in silence. He hadn't spoken since they left the station. He was just 16, born on a distant moon, never seen Earth, never studied human history, but now, He was speaking in ancient Earth language, Rini translated. He was saying, "The warriors wake. The stars burn again. Do not open what was buried with fire." They tried to calm him, but his eyes were glowing faint blue, the same as the warriors. In the video, the truth in the courageous made a choice. "We go back in," he said. "We need to find what this station was for." They re-entered the station. This time, they took a different path, one not shown on any map. They found a door, heavy, sealed, covered in human writing. Rin. Ni read it aloud. "Tomb of memory, sealed in peace, not to be disturbed." They opened it anyway. Inside was a large chamber. In the center, a human body still in armor sat on a throne, not dead, not alive, sleeping. His hands held a sword. His armor hummed softly. A helmet lay at his feet. The walls around him were covered in carved stories, battles, betrayals, last stands. Words like soul, war, blood pact, and void exodus. The awakening. The air changed. The sword in the figure's hand began to glow. Eyes opened, bright blue. He did not move. He just looked at them. And said, "The stars have broken their silence. The children of dust have touched fire again, so we rise." The lights in the station burst on. A signal was sent into deep space. Not a warning, a call. The message spread back on Nolan's grace. Every screen came alive. A human face appeared, young, serious. "You opened the lost station. Now the others will wake. We remember every betrayal, every silence, every lie." Then came a sentence in bold. "We are not myths. We are the storm they forgot. The metal that sang in the cold scrapyards of Raxian Prime. Nothing ever made music. The planet was known for its junk, old war machines, broken satellites, rusted ship pieces. Black dust covered everything. The air was dry. The people were poorer than poor. But one man still believed in Artrev Malin, a blacksmith. He melted down war metal and shaped it into knives, tools, and sometimes beautiful swords. No one paid much, but Drev didn't stop. Until the day that metal started to sing. A strange delivery. It came in a silent pod, dropped from an old cargo route. No label, no sender, just a small capsule made of ancient steel. Drev opened it and found a single smooth metal slab, dark gray, almost black, heavy, cold. But as he touched it, it hummed, not like a machine, like a voice, a low, human voice, singing in a forgotten tongue. He dropped it, but the humming didn't stop. It rang in the air like memory. Forging the blade that night, Drev worked late. He heated the slab in his forge. Fire licked its surface, but it did not melt easily. It resisted the flame, then suddenly glowed not red, but blue. He hammered it. Sparks flew, but they did not fall to the ground. They floated. They formed shapes, faces, eyes, warriors. His hands moved faster, as if guided by invisible forces. He didn't feel tired. He didn't blink. By sunrise, the sword was done. Long, sharp, perfect. It pulsed softly in the air. He called it Vigil, but the sword already had a name. It whispered to him, "I am the memory of flame. I remember every hand that held me, every scream, every oath." Drev didn't sleep that day. Voices in the workshop the next night. Things got stranger. Drev left Vigil on his table and went to sleep. But when he woke up, the sword had moved. It now stood upright, pointed at the door. He laughed nervously. Maybe it slipped, but then he saw footprints, dusty boot prints on the floor leading to the table, and then vanishing. He had lived alone for years. The stranger arrives 3 days later. A man in a hood came to the forge. His clothes were simple, but his presence felt heavy, like he carried a war inside his body. "You forged something not meant for you," the man said. Drev tensed. "It came to me. I didn't steal it." The man slowly lifted the sword. The humming stopped. The blade turned black again. "Silent. Remembers me," the man said softly. "This sword was once mine. It fought in the burning skies. It knows my blood." Drev stepped back. "What are you?" The man looked at him. "I am what they called a myth. I am human." Weapons that moved soon after. Other forges across the galaxy reported the same thing. Old metal humming. Tools reshaping themselves. Swords jumping from walls. One weapons dealer on Zircle 7 tried to break a human blade. The moment he touched it with a plasma cutter, the blade spun in the air, cutting him down. The walls of his shop later showed glowing words. "You made us. For war. Then buried us. Now we rise." Forging without fire. Drev began receiving visions. Each time he closed his eyes, he saw warriors. Black armor, blue eyes, hands covered in blood and fire. He began forging new weapons, but now he didn't need fire. The metal shaped itself. Daggers bent like light. Spears sang. One sword floated above the ground and whispered, "Where is my master?" He stopped eating, stopped sleeping. People came to him, offering money for the weapons, but they refused to be touched. One man reached for a blade. It shattered. In his hand, the pieces formed a message on the floor: "You are not worthy." A voice threw flame one night. Drev lit his forge and stepped back. The fire turned blue. From it, a face emerged, not real, but made of heat and memory. The voice spoke, "Blacksmith, you are chosen not by skill, but by your heart. You remember silence. You listen to stories. You treat fire like a friend." Drev whispered, "Who are you?" The fire replied, "I was once a general. I died with 10,000 human warriors beside me. My blade broke in my hand, but I swore if ever they returned, I would forge them new ones." Drev dropped to his knees. "What do you want from me?" The fire whispered, "Build, shape, and wait. They are coming." Galactic reaction. The Galactic Council received a report. 47 planets had recorded active human-forged weapons in the last 10 days. Weapons that moved on their own. Weapons that glowed when touched by certain people. Council leader Thrana slammed her fist on the table. "This is a threat," she said. "A weapon uprising. We must destroy every forge. Ban all old metal." But a whisper came through the comms. Not from any speaker. From the walls. "You cannot ban what remembers. You cannot silence what was made to sing." The blacksmith's last work drove built one final sword. This one was different. It did not hum. It did not glow. It was quiet, still, heavy like a promise. When he finished, he placed it on a stone and said, "I do not know who you belong to, but I trust you'll find them." The sword pulsed once, then vanished. A small spark drifted into the stars. The silent moon. The moon was called Zereth IV, known for peace. It was cold, covered in ice and soft snow. No wars were ever fought here. No blood was ever spilled. It was a place for treaties and quiet talks between alien races. Until now, a diplomatic team landed there after a signal was received, strained, broken, and old. It repeated one word again and again in many languages. Human, the peace mission. The team was led by envoy Tala Moyen, a respected negotiator. Alongside him were scientists, guards, and a medic. They expected a crash site, or a lost probe. What they found was a battlefield frozen in time. Thousands of broken weapons lay in the snow. Swords, guns, even burned shields, all half buried under thick layers of ice. But there were no bones, no bodies, just armor and silence. Tala bent down and picked up a broken helmet. It was old, black, and marked with a symbol, a circle with 4 stars. "Human origin," whispered the science officer. "Eyes wide." "No," Tala said. "Humans haven't been here for thousands of years." The medic replied, "Then who was fighting?" The breathing corpse. Hours later, one of the guards found something, not metal, not debris, a body lying in the snow, curled like in sleep, covered in frost. But breathing. The skin was pale, the armor was black, the face was human. The heart monitor confirmed it. Still alive, still strong, still waiting. They pulled the body onto a stretcher. The guard who touched him cried out. A burning pain shot up his hand. The body twitched. Then spoke, in a low whisper. They should have listened. The wake. They brought him back to the shuttle, heated his body, removed the frost from his armor. He looked young, maybe 30, muscles like stone, skin marked with battle scars. But no one recognized the armor. It didn't match any human army on record. Tala stood close. "Who are you?" The man opened his eyes, glowing faint blue. He sat up slowly, looking at the snow outside. "Is the war over?" he asked. "What war?" Tala replied. The man turned his head. "Then you don't know." "The warrior speaks," they called him. Ash. He would not say his full name, said it was buried with fire. He spoke slowly, as if remembering was painful. "I was part of the final line," he said. "We were left to sleep, to rise only if the galaxy forgot." Tala asked, "Forgot what?" Ash looked directly at him. "What humans are. History lost in the medbay." Ash picked up a datapad. He scrolled through the modern galaxy maps. Laws, species, fleets. He frowned. "This is wrong," he said. "This peace is built on silence. You buried truth under treaties." He tapped the screen. "You let them write myths about us. You erased our sacrifice. And now they open doors they don't understand." Tala tried to stay calm. "We're here to keep peace." Ash stood up. "Then you're too late. The return begins on the other side of the moon." The ice cracked. Something below shifted. An underground chamber, thousands of years old, began to wake. The scientists scanned it. Inside were dozens of sleeping human warriors, like Ash, frozen in time, hidden from history. A quiet hum filled the air. One by one, their eyes opened. Blue Dot, the panic back on the main planet of Valari. News spread fast. Humans found alive. Ancient weapons waking. Old warriors breathing again. The council went into emergency mode. Some wanted peace talks. Some wanted strikes. But others were scared for good reason. Because every warrior that woke up remembered everything. The message from the Ice Moon, a signal was sent. Not by Ash. By the chamber itself. It played a clear voice. To those who broke the seal, you disturbed the Guardians. We are not here to rule. We are here to remind you you were warned. Then, coordinates began to appear. One by one, human tombs, human weapons, human worships, all buried, all now. Waking Ash's Choisteller stood alone with Ash in the snow. He asked softly, "Will you bring war?" Ash did not answer quickly. He looked to the sky. Then said, "No, but if the galaxy forces us, we will remind it how war feels." The forgotten ships, long ago, in the time before silence, humans ruled the stars with ships like beasts. They didn't just fly, they hunted, they listened, they learned that when the humans left, they didn't destroy their fleet, they buried it. Some warships were sealed in the deserts of dead worlds, others were sunken deep in alien oceans. Some were even fused into mountains so no one could ever find them again, until now. They were waking. The signal it began with a hum low deep, and felt more than heard. In a dry crater on Core 5, an alien mining crew drilled into the rock. They thought they were digging for minerals. They hit steel, but this wasn't normal metal. This metal vibrated. Then sang. The miners stepped back. Their machines shut down. A small light blinked under the dust, then lit the entire cave blue. Above them, the ground cracked open and a shape rose. A giant warship, black, sharp, sleeping for thousands of years, stood up like it had just closed its eyes yesterday. Command. Not found in an observatory orbiting Tavernine. Scientists recorded an impossible signal. Hundreds of ships long dead were now sending beacons. Command requests received. Awaiting warrior signal. No commander present. Activating autonomous defense mode. The council panicked. Autonomous? Asked Senator Vol. Yes, replied the technician. The room fell silent. No one had seen a Sapphire warfleet in centuries, especially one designed by humans. Buried in the sand on the desert moon Chandra, a boy named Polt played alone. He threw a stone into a dry canyon. It echoed strangely. Then the ground shook. From the canyon walls, wings of dark steel unfolded. A ship, not just a shipper, but the carrier, the size of a city, stood up, shedding sand like rain. Polt ran, but the ship didn't chase. Instead, it scanned him. A soft chime sounded, then a message played from the sky. Human DNA 3%, lineage detected. Friend. The ship lowered a ramp. Fleet status, ACTIV in council space. Satellites picked up more horror. One ship rose from a glacier on a frozen world. Another emerged from a volcano, unharmed. A third decloaked in the middle of a trading route, silently watching. Every screen showed the same word. Fleet status, active. Council leader Thruna shouted, "We must send destroyers," but her science chief shook his head. "No weapon we have is strong enough. These ships were made to survive the end of history." Ash returns back on Zeroth 4, the sleeping warrior. Ash watched the sky glow with signals. He stood outside the frozen chamber with other waking humans. They said nothing, no anger, no joy, only readiness. A small drone flew overhead. Ash raised his hand. The drone dropped from the air, disabled. By signal alone, he looked at Talamayan, the envoy who had found him. "They will try to destroy us now," Tala asked. "Will you fight?" Ash nodded. "Only to remind them who we were." A ship finds its master on a jungle planet called Reckon. A young pilot named Mira Vex was flying alone. Suddenly, her ship powered down, controls dead, lights off. Then a new voice filled her cockpit. "I know you. You are the blood of Captain Koravex, my last commander." Myra blinked. "What? Who's speaking?" Outside, the trees split apart. A hidden hangar opened. A sleek warship rose, shimmering silver, covered in human markings. "I have waited. Come, we must fly again." Ships choose across the galaxy. Each reawakening ship scanned for human bloodlines. Partial ones, children, refugees, mixed ancestry traders, forgotten colonies. If they passed the scan, the ships called to them. One ship would not move unless a baby was placed near its core. Another rejected all adults but opened for a teenage girl with no known Earth ancestry, only a dream of stars. The Council's mistake-fearing rebellion. The Galactic Council ordered preemptive strikes. Hundreds of drones were sent to attack the ships. Before they could move, only 3 returned. Their memory logs showed the same event. The ships did not fire. First, they waited. Only when fired upon, they responded with exact force. No overkill, no mistakes, no emotion, just perfect memory. A message was recovered. We were not made for conquest. We were made for balance. You fired first. Now we adjust. The true fleet size one final signal was decoded. Warfleet Echo count, 1007 units active. Strategic Guardians online. Commanders not found. Scanning ... until they return. Jace Miro, the salvager from the lost station, saw the numbers, and whispered, 1,000 ships. His engineer added, and they're looking for their old warriors. They both turned. Outside their port window, a single human cruiser hovered silent, watching. The Council gathers at the heart of the galaxy. On the Golden Station Verex Prime, the Unified Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. It was the first time in 500 years that all species Aetherians, Valkyrie, Morans and others sat together. The reason was simple. The human fleet was awake, not just awake, coordinated, controlled, and growing. And yet, not a single human had declared war. No threats, no attacks, no demands, only silence. And watching. Fear or Peace Council leader Thranavol stood tall. They haven't struck. We must talk. Send envoys, show we are not enemies. But others shouted. They are testing us, said the Valkyrie general. They remember old wars. If we wait, they strike first. The Moran speaker shook his head. They have not killed civilians. Not one. They only respond when attacked. That is honor. Whispers filled the chamber. Some wanted peace, others wanted preemptive annihilation. Then came the message. The human message. Every screen on the council station turned black. Then a calm human voice spoke. You buried our history, you turned us into myths, and now you speak of fear. A face appeared. Not young, not angry, just tired. We do not return to rule. We return because you opened our tombs. You used our weapons. You stole our war blood. You forced our ships to remember. Then came the final words. We offer one treaty, one chance. You choose the path. But know this, we will not kneel, not again. The location, Ashfall. Humans gave coordinates. A neutral ground, a dark planet named Ashfall, once the site of a forgotten war. No cities, no people, just ashes and wind. The treaty would happen there or not at all. The envoys arrived. The council sent a fleet. Not to fight but to protect their diplomats. Each ship had weapons primed, but silent. When they landed on Ashfall they found only one human warrior waiting. It was Ashbar, same man found frozen on Zeri-4. He stood alone on black stone, a giant sword on his back. The council envoys stepped forward. Talamayan, the human envoy from earlier, spoke. We come for peace. Ash nodded once. Then listen. One last time. The terms. Ash raised his hand. A small device opened and projected symbols into the air. No species shall use human weapons without consent. No tomb shall be opened again. No fleet shall fire unless fired upon. The Valkyrie general scowled. And if we refuse, Ash's eyes glowed faintly, then our fleet will not fire either. It will simply move through your space and take back what was ours. The rebel shot suddenly. A sniper blast, a laser bolt flew from the hills behind it, struck Ash in the back. He fell forward silent. Council guards drew weapons. Panic erupted. Who fired? From the sky a small war drone screamed down. Valkyrie, rebels and anti-human faction had come to destroy the treaty. Big mistake. The trap breaks above the planet. The human fleet moved, not in attack, in defense formation. Each ship pointed its weapons not at the council ships, but at the rebels. One word echoed across the battlefield. Protector protocol activated. Ash stood back up. The sniper blast had not injured him. His armor melted it. He faced the hills. A wave of energy pulsed out from his chest, not lethal but disabling. The rebel drone crashed to the ground. Powerless. Unity or Fireteller turned to the council. You see now, they don't want blood. They want respect. The Valkyrie general growled. This was a trick. But the Moran leader shook her head. No. They saved us from our own madness. Then came the final transmission from the fleet AI, now speaking as a collective. The treaty stands. We will not offer it again. You may fear us, but we do not fear peace. A human commander appears as the council prepared to vote. One final human ship descended. Sleek, black, massive. From it walked a woman in command armor, older than Ash, a scar down her left cheek. She spoke with gravity. I am Commander Saran Ellen, last general of the Terran Front. I slept beneath the oceans of Villa 3 for 2,300 years. Now I am awake. and I will lead our people into the stars again with honor or with fire. She looked at the council. Your choice. The vote back on Verex Prime. The vote began. One by one, each species chose peace or war. The results came in. Peace. 17 votes. War. 6 votes. The treaty passed. The last line before leaving. Commander Sarone looked into the broadcast lens, her voice calm. We do not seek to rule, we seek to remind. A galaxy that forgets its fire will one day burn by accident. We were the myth, now we are the memory. The fragile peace, the human treaty, was signed. Across the galaxy, fleets stood down. Ancient warships returned to silent orbit. Human weapons, once burning with memory, dimmed. Commander Soren Ellen and her warriors began helping rebuild old archives. Ash and the other awakened soldiers taught history, not war. The galaxy took a breath, but not everyone wanted peace. The empire that denied the Nexari dominion, a rising empire of machines and cloned elites, refused the treaty. They believed humans were too dangerous to exist. We will not kneel to ghosts, their ruler said. Secretly, they had been working on something, a weapon stolen from a buried Terran facility, the Mirror Engine. It was not meant to kill, it was meant to erase memory. They believed if the humans forgot who they were, they'd become harmless. They launched the weapon at a quiet moon where human children had begun to gather. The spark the Mirror Engine struck. Buildings melted, memory cores went blank. 17 human children lost their identity in seconds. Their blood still glowed with fire, but they didn't know their names. One whispered to the wind, "Who am I?" The moment the weapon hit, the entire human fleet changed color, from blue to deep red. Their silence ended, and so did the galaxy's peace. The storm begins. Commander Soren stood on the bridge of the Vigil's crown, her flagship. All commands unlocked, said the AI. Saren's voice was steady. Activate Echo Protocol. 1,000 ships moved at once. No hesitation, no threat, just motion. They didn't fire yet. They only surrounded every Nexari world. The council's plepenix spread. The council begged the humans to wait, to talk, to forgive. But Soren replied with one line. Forgiveness was given. They burned it. Still, the humans gave one final message to the Nexari. Return the stolen memory. Bow in apology. Or we bring the storm. The Nexari laughed. You are relics. You won't dare. They were wrong. The wrath of memory. The attack lasted 43 minutes. No civilian deaths. No overkill. Just precise strikes. The Mirror Engine was destroyed. Nexari command silenced. Weapon labs melted into dust. Not a single human foot touched the ground. It was surgical war. Perfect memory in motion. At the end, a red flare shot into the Nexari sky. A message beamed into space. This was restraint. Try Agnand. We return as we once were. What they didn't know, the humans hadn't used even half their strength. The true force, the ancient AI armada. The sleeper fleet of soul. The Black Halo weapon remained untouched. Osh, now teaching young humans on a peaceful moon, told his students, power isn't in using the sword, it's in knowing when not to. Legends restored in time. The other empires understood. The humans were not monsters. They were keepers of balance. They were the warning. Myths turned back into truth. Schools taught their history again. Old lies were burned, and everywhere, human voices whispered one lesson. We asked for peace. We built it in silence. You broke the seal. You touched the fire. You should have listened. Final scene. A child and a sword. A young alien girl on a remote planet found a glowing sword buried in the dirt. She touched it. It sang in her mind, not in words, but in feelings. She asked softly, "Who did you belong to?" The sword replied, "Someone who remembered. Someone who waited. Now maybe you will too." She lifted it above her. In orbit, a single human ship blinked its light once, watching, protecting, remembering.